Well, the NYSE has a large presence at Money 2020 in Las Vegas this week, including a keynote from our president late yesterday. For more, I want to bring back in my colleague Trinity Chavez, who was at the event late Sunday. And Trinity has doors prepared to open today for Money 2020 at the Venetian. What did the NYSE president, Lynn, have to share on stage yesterday?
You know what, I have to say that there wasn't a better way to kick things off than to land fresh off the plane, hit the ground, and then hear NYSE President Lynn Martin speak with Alan Murray, who's the president of the Dow Jones, to discuss some of the exciting shifts that we're seeing right now in the overall financial sector. So they covered a lot of ground, from the future of fintech to also whether or not we're going to see an IPO boom in the fintech space. And while Lynn said that she's seeing fintech companies right now entering the public markets, it's going to be hard to pinpoint exactly when we're going to see that so-called fintech IPO boom. Now, the types of companies, though, that we're seeing access the public markets right now include big names like Reddit and UL. Now, these are companies that are already profitable, and many of them are household names, right? So, you know, they're not really in that startup phase growth, you know, for a lot of the fintech companies that we're seeing right now that are out currently on the market. And so Lynn said that we need to have a solid macroeconomic environment, and if the economy remains resilient, increased IPO activity in fintech could be a positive outcome. But she also spoke with how the upcoming election might affect the outcome. So let's take a listen.
Conditions would have to take place for a boom to occur.
That's the reason I said maybe. Will there be a fintech IPO boom? Yes. I just can't give you the date that it's going to occur. It's going to take a lot of things to get the IPO markets really back open in a more robust fashion. So this year, just to orient those of you who don't follow this every day, this year the US markets have raised about $37 billion. Not a lot of fintechs, but $37 billion is a good year. In an average year, the US IPO markets raise about 46 or 47 billion. So the market, it's a spring of IPOs, I would say, this year.
In addition to that conversation, AI, of course, was a topic of conversation, and Lynn talked about how AI, of course, has been a part of the NYSE culture and operations for more than a decade, especially when it comes to handling the massive volume of data. And the NYSE also processes around 750 billion incoming order messages every single day, and machine learning helps us manage that flow effectively, right? So she also talked about how using AI to enhance and for transparency when it comes to investors, clears insights. And so that's going to be hugely beneficial, as well as talking about the major announcement that we did just last week that the NYSE will expand weekday trading on its NYSE Arca Equities Exchange to 22 hours a day. Now, this extended trading would take place from 1:30 p.m. to 11:30 p.m. Eastern. And, you know, this is going to happen on all weekdays, Kristen. So let's take a listen to that.
Interesting thing that has happened, I would say, over the last couple of years in particular, is that the U.S. markets have continued to gain notoriety as the center of the global economy. People want to manage risk throughout the day in their own time zones, from Asia, from Europe, from the U.S. So we thought it was our responsibility as the world's largest stock exchange to do this in a responsible fashion. And when we thought about what that meant, it meant ensuring that the clearing infrastructure, the guarantee that comes with anytime you buy a stock, there is someone that is taking the sell side and the buy side. Having the central clearing infrastructure operate alongside the market. So now that our central clearinghouse, DTC, has announced that they are extending their hours, we thought, okay, now it's time for us to do the right thing and be the first exchange to make plans to extend our own trading hours.
And of course, this news is sort of ricocheting throughout the financial community because, again, expanding trading access, this will help meet the growing demand for U.S. listed securities and improve accessibility for investors across different regions and different time zones. Kristen?